Hi everyone, I'm going to continue the series of the Yalkut Yosef over here. As you can see, I've got it ready, just having a coffee now. And sorry about the noise of it, just in an ice cream place just to gather some thoughts. It's the only place with reception over here, so a good Klita reception. So I thought I will continue this series of the Yalkut Yosef over here from this ice cream place at the moment. So you guys got a snippet of where I am, just with a coffee. Place to energize the morning. And where are we up to, friends? We are on Siman 244. Let's get a better position over here. It's always good to have a bit of background here. Hopefully we'll learn, and hopefully it's not going to be too distracting. Okay, yes, I think that's perfect now. So we are actually dealing with Siman 244. We are on the 12th halacha over here. So it's still in the middle of the Siman. It's talking all about labor performed by a non-Jew for a Jewish person. I said a bracha already earlier on for that, just before I start the video, so everyone should know that I did bracha before that. Now we're talking about a housemaid over here. We're continuing this. I believe this is the 9th installment of the halacha over here, so I have a good place. There's nowhere to really rest this phone on, so I will take it. Okay, I'll start it off. Yud Bet, halacha Yud Bet. Ozeret. Okay, so we're talking all about a non-Jewish maid over here. Ozeret Beit Nachriya. העובדת בבית ישראל, אסור לה לעשות מלאכה בשביל ישראל בבית יהודי בשבת ביום טוב. So naturally, a non-Jewish woman working in a Jewish home may not perform acts of malacha on Shabbat or Yom Tov on behalf of Jewish employers. That's the first thing we can say about this, naturally. Okay, so he continues, the Yalkut Yosef does. The Kogon, giving for example. Kogon always means example. Tikkun v'tiferet abgadim. For example, fixing or sewing clothes. That's the first thing. First example. Af im lo tzivui oto la'asot melacha. Even if she doesn't command, even if af im lo tzivui oto la'asot melacha. Even if you didn't command her to do it. V'rak im hi oseh et melacha ma'atzma. What if she's going to do this working, the sewing by herself on her own, without instruction? What's going to be the din over here? Okay. So I'll add one over there. Okay. If it's for our own benefit, then seemingly it's going to be permissible. Mutar means permissible, friends. Okay, let's continue. What if she's employed by the Jewish person, but she wants to fix something herself, sew her own garments and stuff like that? Then it's going to be allowed, because it's not noticeable. It's clearly noticeable that it's not for the Jew she's doing this for, it's for her own purposes. Okay, now we're on Halacha Yud Gimel over here, friends. Now we're talking about washing dishes on Shabbat. Washing dishes in general, people do not enjoy doing this, but let's see what it says. Ozeret b'bait nachriya ha'ovedet b'beit Yisrael u'ba'al ha'bait metzaveh ota lishtok tzkoli והיא יכולה לנקותם על ידי שטיפה רגילה, או כדי להקל על עצמה, כי היא שוטפת את הכלים במכונת הדחה חשמלית, אין צריך למחה בידה, מאחר שלא ציווי עליה לעשות כן, ודתת נמשי כבדה, והמחמיר בזה תבוא על הברכה. Okay, so now, if a non-Jew is instructed to wash dishes for a Jewish person on Shabbat, and the non-Jew chooses on his own to use an electric dishwashing machine instead of doing it by hand, then in that case, according to this, you'd be surprised over here, it's not necessary to prevent him from doing so, which I probably wouldn't have thought. I would have said, no, you should separate. This is because the employer did not instruct him to use the machine, and it's entirely the non-Jewish person's prerogative, his choice to do it over here. If one chooses to be strict on this, and not allow the use of dishwashing machine, although the employee will charge more, one will receive the blessing from heaven. So, naturally, it's going to take longer for the non-Jewish person to do it by hand, so it probably potentially costs more money in general. So it's better, you're going to get more blessing if you tell her, if you tell her, but you're not allowed to command her to do it. It's if she does it by her own prerogative. I'm surprised by this also. I would have thought maybe it was not allowed, but this is according to this. Now we're talking about an unlit kitchen. This is the next thing. וכן מותר לו מעלה לשטוף את הכלים, אף שיודעים שהאור במטבח כבוי, וכי תצטרך להדליק את האור, מאחר שלא ציווה עליה להדליק, בדתת נפשי כבדי. What if you've got the light is switched off in the kitchen, over here, the light is switched off, and you tell her to wash your dishes and all that, you don't tell her to switch on the light, but she's going to have to do it by default, because she's going to see the job. then you're apparently allowed to instruct her over here because she's doing it for her own purposes, just for her own good. והוא הדין שמוצע לומר לנוכרי שיביא לו איזה דבר מהחדר הסמוך, אף שאין שם אור דלוק. You're allowed to tell her to bring you an item in a place which is a dark room, and she might potentially switch on light. You're not allowed to tell her to switch it on, but she might do that as a side thing that is going to occur over there. Okay, now typing on Shabbat. Back in those days, at the time this was written, not everyone had a computer like nowadays. People had typewriters. I remember when I was a kid, we had a typewriter in our house. Let's see what it says over here. Typing on Shabbat. מותר לסחור גוי שיכתב לו במחשבה איזה ספר. אף שהגוי כותב גם בשבת, שיכוון שסיכם עמו, מחיר על כתיבת כל החומר, ולא קבע לו שכר יומי. הגוי עדתת במשיק כבד מותר. If you've got a book, someone wants to write a book or something, and you go to ask a non-Jewish person to write it for you, whatever it might be, you give. If you're paying him not by the day, you're paying him in a lump sum to do the job, let's say for a week, for a month, or for 5 days, whatever window of time, you're not allowed to tell him obviously to work on Shabbat. But then if he's going to do it then without your instruction, seemingly it's going to be okay over here because he's doing it of his own accord over here. The Beit Yisrael, this, as long as it's not done inside the Jewish person's house over here, that is the condition within regards to this. Now next up, let's see how many more minutes we've got. We're talking about partnerships between Jews and non-Jews over here. This is a new topic over here. It's a small topic, so let's try and carry this through. Sorry about the noise over here. I'm inside this place, there's a lot of machines working. Fitting, we're talking about machines and generators. And I'm in a place that's got this. Now we're talking about partnerships between a Jew and a non-Jew. For example, they could jointly own a beast of burden, a field, or a store, and the non-Jew wishes to perform the melacha with the animal or the property. The Jew has no power to stop him seemingly because they might own it together and he might want to work on it on Shabbat. In the case of a beast of burden, however, the Torah forbids melacha to be performed with it since it belongs to a Jew, even if a non-Jew makes it to do melacha. So this is, let's see what the two halachot will say over here. Aleph and Bet, we're in Siman 245. Over here, we'll try and do these two and wrap it up for the day. Okay. Halacha aleph. Ha'ikar l'dinan shesh isu shvitat behemoto gam behema shotzvim ba yehudi va'avodat kochavim. Naturally, meaning a non-Jewish person. Ve'ein la'akel b'zeh. A Jew must see to it that his animals are not used for work on Shabbat. Even if the animal is owned jointly by a Jew and a non-Jew, it's nevertheless prohibited. Although there are some poskim, some rabbis, who disagree. Apparently the Yalkut Yosef is going to conclude over here. One may be lenient, mekel on this specific thing. Halacha better over here. I'll wrap it up for today. A Jew and a non-Jew has a partnership together in a business. It's a scenario where you cannot close necessarily this business or whatever it is on Shabbat itself. Obviously, if it's Jew is done, that's the pinnacle. You're meant to put a condition when you're going to the partnership with regards to this. Okay, so what it's saying here, the best thing to do is to write a contract stipulating that the non-Jew will receive all the profits earned on the Shabbat, and that the Jewish partner will receive all the profits of one of the 6 days over here. So that's an important thing. I add on over here, the two will divide the profits earned during the remaining 5 days according to the terms of the partnership. If in reality all the profits earned on Shabbat are greater than those earned on the weekday, which will happen in many places across the world, maybe Saturday is potentially the busiest day. It's going to be greater earned on the weekday disconnected from the Jew, but the non-Jew does not mind dividing all the profits evenly. The Jew may take half the profits of the business. Remember, always double check and look inside these halachot of the Yalkut Yosef or whatever you are learning about. Okay, let's see how he concludes. ואם שכר שבת מרובה ובשעת החלוקה נתרצה האינו יהודי לחלק בשווה מותר. ואם לא חתנו ייטול האינו יהודי שכר שבתות לבדו בשעה יחלקו. ואם אין ידוע שכר שבת ייטול האינו יהודי שביעית וחולקים השאר. Then, okay, so what does he conclude? If the partners do not make a division of days over here in their contract, could be the Jewish person is not religious and makes teshuvah and then learns the laws. What does he do? The non-Jew must be awarded all the profits earned on the Shabbat. And the profits of all the weekdays must be divided evenly. If they are incapable of calculating profits earned on Shabbat separately from those of the weekdays, they must tally the profits and then separate a seventh of that total for the non-Jew. Then they divide the remaining 6/7 equally between them. They're naturally 86 plus percent or whatever it might be. Next topic we're going to talk about is renting to non-Jews over Shabbat. I'd like to dedicate this in memory of Rabbi Leo D's wife and 2 daughters that were murdered during Pesach. And please watch over the previous videos which we're doing. We are going to, next topic is going to be the renting to non-Jews over Shabbat, which will be on Siman 246. Have a great day, guys.